Hey, this is Christina Feliciano with Feliciano and Friends, and I have Bryan Brown here today, and he is a second degree black belt. He is the owner of 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu in Jacksonville Beach. He is also a musician and a member of 1122 and a Christian, and we're going to talk about all of that today. So welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's first start talking about you played football.
Yeah.
So what was that experience like, and what made you stop playing football?
I fell in love with sports early on, and I did as many sports as I could as a child. I think the first sport that I tried and hated was soccer.
Okay.
So much running, and then I tried baseball for a season, and I was on the swim team for 5 or 6 years, and then in high school, I just kind of went to football, and it made sense because I was a bigger kid. By the time I was a freshman, I was already 200 pounds, which is
how tall were you?
Just 5'11", so
okay.
not huge, just normal size as far as that goes, but thick, And so I loved basketball in middle school, but in high school I didn't get any taller. So wrestling and football kind of became my main sports, and so. In football, I got to play both ways, and I was on a starter, so it made sense to try to attempt to play at a higher level because I really did want to play Division One. I actually had a situation when I was a freshman where my mom fell down a flight of stairs at an arena, and she broke her neck, and so I had to drop out of school for a year.
Oh my goodness.
And so what that did was that forced me to go through high school for 5 years. So when I was a senior, I was ineligible to play sports, which kind of threw me into depression.
Yeah, I can
And then
imagine.
so I didn't realize, I was oh, my career's over. I can't go to a D1 school because I can't play as a senior. So I ended up realizing I could still go to a junior college.
Okay.
So I ended up at a junior college. I played there for 2 years. I hurt my shoulder in the third game of my sophomore season, and I really was not in love with the coaches. My high school coaches were amazing. I had an Olympian coach me as a wrestler.
And where was this?
San Ramon Valley High School in Danville, California. So
okay.
Northern California, just kind of the East Bay of kind of Oakland, San Francisco suburbs. Okay. And so in junior college, I hurt myself, and I didn't have the heart to kind of rehab and get back into football. I was just kind of every kid, I was oh, I'm going to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
No, you're too short to do that. And so I had always played music, and so instead of going back to college for finishing school, I had a friend who drove down and convinced me to go with him to try out for the second season of American Idol, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I did that, and we camped out in the Rose Bowl parking lot.
Yeah.
And I auditioned, and I made it through the first wave. They called me back to the Renaissance Hollywood Hotel for day 2 auditions. I made it from day 2 to day 3, and we went from I want to say 6,000 or 7,000, and I made it to 100 before they picked the 32 for the live show.
Oh, wow.
So that gave me the confidence to go back to LA, enroll in music school, and just kind of pursue that.
Okay, and where did you go to music school?
Musicians Institute, which is right in Hollywood, right off of Hollywood Boulevard, and it was right Sunset and La Brea is right there.
Okay, and then how long were you in school there? And were you doing
2 years.
Okay, and so what did you sing, and then also you play guitar?
Yep. I was a late bloomer at guitar, but I'd always been a fan of singing.
Okay.
And so I was that guy that was captain of the football team, but then also in choir.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was kind of
I don't know many guys like that, but okay.
Totally,
so, yeah.
totally
cool.
Rare even.
Yeah, I was gonna say that guy. I'm I don't think there's many that guys
yeah.
that do that, but that's cool.
It was fun. It was fun. It was just and then jiu-jitsu makes sense too because it's an art form. It's a martial art. And so I like art. I like cooking. I like singing. I like creating. I think it's in our nature to do that sort of thing. And so because I could sing and because people were hey, you should maybe pursue this, I went and tried, and then the positive result of the audition for American Idol was oh, maybe if I worked hard at this, I could actually do something with it,
Yeah, so then how did you go from singing and music to jiu-jitsu? How did you get connected with Eddie Bravo? Because that's how did that transition happen?
Totally. It's actually really crazy too because it's funny too, sheepishly, the reason I looked for jiu-jitsu is 1 year, in November of 2005, I come home to visit family, and my little brother had already started jiu-jitsu. I didn't know that. He's 3 years younger than me, also a giant man, and we were wrestling, and he submitted me, and I was what the hell? Pardon my language. But I was what the heck is that? And he's oh, that's called, he hit me with what's called an Americana. It's a shoulder lock, it's where you bend the arm. And I was like, I felt some type of way. You know what I mean? I'm the older brother, and he was like on cloud nine. I was like, this can't happen. So I literally used that as motivation. I seeked out. I was like, hey, I'm thinking about, like, I'm obviously in music school, so I want to be a musician. I'm practicing that. But I was like, stupidly in my head, I was like, yeah, but maybe a fallback plan would be a professional fighter because I'm an athlete and this type of thing. And so back in the day, we didn't have I say back in the day, like 2005, right? So we didn't have like, Facebook wasn't even a thing yet. We didn't really have YouTube or anything. So there was like this thing called the MMA Underground. And I asked the question. I was like,
there was MySpace then.
There was MySpace. Yeah. That's right.
Yes,
that was
I had MySpace in 2005.
Yeah, your top 8 or your top 4 or whatever. Yeah, for sure.
And Tom.
100%. Tom's your first friend.
Yes.
So someone told me, I said, hey, I was thinking about doing MMA. I'd boxed and I'd wrestled already for several years. So I thought I was really tough, and I wasn't, but like I thought I was. And they said Eddie Bravo just submitted this guy named Royler Gracie, which at the time I didn't know or understand what that was, but that'd be like some nobody who doesn't even play in the NBA beating Michael Jordan in a game of one-on-one. Okay. So like my guy Eddie did that, and it was like it sent shockwaves through that industry. And again, I'm ignorant. I don't know.
And this is Eddie Bravo that did that.
Correct.
Okay.
That was Eddie. So he beat Royler Gracie in like 2002 at the ADCC championships, which is basically the Olympics of grappling for submission grappling. And so this guy is like, hey, you should go check out Eddie Bravo on 10th Planet, because Eddie Bravo just beat Royler Gracie, and he's amazing at no-gi jiu-jitsu, which is great for MMA. We don't wear the kimono or anything. We do 100% no-gi. Okay. And then at the time, there was a kickboxing instructor there named Chris Riley, and they both worked with several UFC fighters, and it seemed like a top-notch gym. And so that's how I kind of found Eddie. And then when I read about Eddie, I found out that he was a DJ, he's a songwriter, he's a musician, he's a comedian.
I knew that he's a comedian because of Rogan.
Right. Yeah. And
everyone knows him.
Him and Joe have been best friends for forever, and like I've known Joe the whole time too.
Have you?
Yeah. So I've gotten to like train with Joe.
Did you go to like the comedies?
The Comedy Store?
The Comedy Store, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like literally I have dozens of times where Joe Rogan's beaten me up when I was younger, and I wasn't as good as I am now. Yeah. So it's like, I know Joe will never see this, but I hope I get to roll with him again at some point now that I am a black belt, because it would go differently.
Yeah.
But cool. He definitely was one of my like upper belt students who just mercilessly ended me every single day, which was good because we need that kind of humbling.
So he used to come to the studio?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Pretty regularly. Very cool. Him and Eddie trained together at Jean-Jacques Machado's gym, and they both trained in the gi. And then Joe was so supportive of Eddie, like one of his biggest supporters, and they're literally best friends.
Yeah, so that's really cool. Yeah, because when Craig told me about you, he's like, yeah, he's friends with Eddie Bravo, and I'm like, the Eddie Bravo that knows Joe Rogan that's best friends with him. He's like, exactly. He's like that Eddie Bravo. I'm like, that's cool.
So it's like really interesting because when I first walked into the gym my first day, Joe was there, and he wasn't Joe Rogan yet, right? Yeah. I walked in, I was like, oh, it's the Fear Factor guy. That's cool. Interesting. Yeah. And I saw a couple other guys that I recognized from either having fought in the UFC. I remember Tate Fletcher was on The Ultimate Fighter. There were a couple other people, Devin Sawa. I don't know if you remember that guy. He played quarterback.
Yeah, I recognize the name for sure.
There's so many like actors and stuff because we're like right in the middle of Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And so like I walked into the place. It was a really small kind of hole in the wall gym, but I was like, I just wanted to have good instruction. I'm like 225 pounds. Eddie's 150 pounds. And the first time we roll, he like folds me up like I'm a child, and I'm like, what is it going to be like if I learn what this guy knows? And it was humbling, and I just was excited to be a student. And so that's how I found Eddie. And because of Eddie and who he is, like I never felt the need to go anywhere else.
Oh, that's cool. Do you still have communication with him?
Every day. We talk all day, every day.
That's cool.
We have a group chat with about 170 of our black belts and school owners in it, so we're like constantly communicating. And because Eddie's a musician, because I'm a musician, like we have a little bit extra of a connection because he's always sending me, he's like, check this out. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Here's what I'm working on. He's like, dude, you wrote that. And I'm like, yeah, dude. He's like, dude, it sounds killer.
That's good to have men supporting other men.
Exactly. It's like the school's grown so big now, but it still doesn't feel that big. But that's because I've been there for 20 years. I've been with him for 20 years. The gym's been open for 22 years. I've been teaching now for 10 myself.
Okay, wow, that's a while. Yeah. So then, when did you realize that you wanted to like teach?
You know, when I was younger, I was always a player coach. Like, I always ended up being a captain of every sports team I was on, and I always coached my friends, like, especially in basketball, because, like, some of my best friends are like 6'6", 6'7", 6'4". So I thought basketball was going to be the thing, but then I fizzled out at like 5'11", and so I was like, I'm gonna go do the wrestling and the football stuff. You guys keep doing that. So coaching's always been something that I've been interested in, but it wasn't something I ever even thought could be a livelihood. Mm-hmm. You know, I always thought, one day I'll go back and be a high school football coach. Maybe I'll coach at a college level. Never even had aspirations to think about being a head coach or anything like that. I just didn't think it would be anything more than just being like something you would do to serve the community. Mm-hmm. Like, because some of my most important people in my life are my coaches. And my dad, my parents split when I was 5. My dad was definitely like really heavy into drinking, and he did his best, but like and I don't have any like regrets or any kind of animosity towards him. We have a great relationship.
Yeah. Does he still drink, or does he?
No, he's actually completely stopped drinking. And but it was like 20 years of it was just kind of like.
Yeah, he got to wear my adulthood too.
100%. And so I felt bad for him. I can't imagine what it must have been like in his mind, because he's basically raising 2 kids and working to make ends meet and stuff. So like, I'm not justifying it, but I'm also not sitting there. Yeah, I'm not that 40-year-old that's like, my dad didn't give me a good childhood.
Yeah, that's not. Neither am I.
I think we go through 3 phases.
Well, you also realize your parents did their best.
100%. Yeah. Well, when we're younger, we idolize them because they're omniscient to us.
Yeah.
They have the answer to everything, whether or not it's right or not. Their parents are like genius level to you because you know nothing. Yeah. Then they do something to break you a little bit, and then we can demonize them. Mm-hmm. And then I think the sooner we get to humanize, which is where I am with both my parents, is like they're just humans. They're children that grew into adulthood, and now they were all just doing their best. Like I don't think that they tried to screw me up on purpose.
Yeah. That's how I feel too.
So that's basically like that's like that aspect of it. But so I didn't really think coaching could be something that I could make a living off of until probably 2016. The gym I was training at shut down. I moved to Florida in 2014. I was training at a gym as a student, not like anything to do with running the gym, but I was just a student, a good training partner. I had just gotten my brown belt from Eddie, because even though I was training at another gym, I let them know, hey, this is my instructor. I would love to train with you guys and be a good training partner, but this is who I have in control of my ranking, because rank and lineage matters. Like if you come up, not saying that the guys
This is kind of Greek to me, so explain this to me a little bit.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a pedigree.
Okay.
Right? So it's like the guy that I come from, Eddie's a world-class instructor. Like absolutely undebatable world-class. Not to take away from anyone else, but I didn't want to get my ranking from anyone other than the guy that I had already started from.
Well, that makes sense.
So that way, when I'm a black belt, I'm a black belt under someone who's considered one of the best in the world. Not a black belt under someone who knows where he got his belt rankings from or his level of expertise. So I felt like a sense of loyalty, but then I also knew that like the style of jiu-jitsu, no disrespect to anybody that was here when I moved here, but like I came here and changed things big time.
And when did you come here to Jacksonville?
2014.
Okay.
So it's been 11 and a half years now. So,
okay.
Yep. And then, so when that gym shut down and I had already been given a brown belt, most people don't start a gym until they're a black belt, but because of my lineage and because of the style of jiu-jitsu I trained, I had about 10 students that were like, you should see if Eddie will let you open a 10th planet. But I already had asked him when I was living in San Diego if I could open one, and he said, absolutely you could. So I already knew that he would. And it was kind of scary, because to be that kind of a leader is kind of like, I don't know, it was intimidating. So I opened up in 2016 with his blessing in like March or April. And we were lucrative from the very beginning. It wasn't enough to live off of it. I did full-time political consulting when I first moved here, because one of my best friends is like one of the lead Republican strategists in the state of Florida too.
Oh, okay.
So I won't name him, but like he's really strong influence. He's gotten some of your favorite conservatives elected to office.
Oh, very cool.
And when I was getting sick of that. Like I was just kind of like, I'm not into politics. That's never been my thing, but working with my best friend was amazing. So
I can imagine.
I love that, but I always kind of wanted to do my own thing. And so while I was doing that, I started the gym. The gym was profitable year 1. Year 2, it doubled in profit. And I was like, this is almost enough to live off of. Year 3, it blew my mind. And I was like, where are you guys coming from? We had almost 100 students.
And what year was this?
2019.
Okay.
So in 2019, I got to quit all other jobs and focus on. So after, like, in the middle of year 3, I got to realize, like, I don't need a part-time job. I can only do this, and it sustains and pays for my life, you know? And then every single year since then, we've grown. In fact, this is the first year in our history that this year will be a little bit worse than last year, which is to say, like...
This year, we've been a little bit worse than last year. I think a lot of businesses have.
Yeah. Well, again, like I was talking, like we discussed a little bit going through a divorce.
We're not the end of the year, so we might still beat last year. So I shouldn't say we can still beat last year.
Yeah, there's no way I'm going to beat last year. Last year was like absolutely astronomical. It was like insane. And this year, even though it's not as good, it's still like better than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No. So I'm not like, oh no, I didn't make X, Y, Z. Because again, it's like, as long as I have more than 60 students, I don't need a part-time job, and I have like 160 students.
That's awesome.
So we're like so far in the green that like now I get to like have other people help teach certain classes with me, or like I'm gonna I have students that teach the noon class, and I have a student that'll teach 6 p.m. for me tonight because I'm here. You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny because you say that because I asked, and I think Izzy knows this, but I had like the other day, you know, Craig's doing travel nursing.
Oh, yeah.
And he works part-time for me per diem.
Okay, cool.
So for the last, how long has it been? A year or two? 2 years?
I'd say a little over a year.
Yeah, so he's worked. So
he's awesome. Yeah. I've known of him, and then his daughter trains also.
Okay, yeah.
And so like I know who they are, and I've trained over at his gym with them and his instructor.
Yeah, no, he spoke really positively, and he's really cool with my dad. So he's worked per diem for me. Yeah.
And then I don't believe he's older than me either. Like on the record, like he's like 5 years older than me.
No, he looks amazing.
I don't believe it.
It is wild.
Like,
I know everybody.
I'm 43.
So,
he's 40. Like 8 or 9.
No, exactly.
Like,
it's amazing.
No,
so he's doing travel nursing right now, and I texted him the other day and was like, for real, how much would it cost me to bring you over full time? And he gave me the number, and I'm like, okay, well, we'd have to sell a lot, and then the podcast has to get on. Like, it could happen. It might not happen by January, but it was like, you know, feasible. But how you're saying for other people, like, yeah, that's the dream would be. So then I could do my yoga and my podcast more.
100%.
Yeah, so just tell.
No, I love that. I think that's awesome. Like, I consider myself like almost retired in 2019 because I got to stop working. And I started to get paid for a hobby that if I wasn't teaching, I'd still be paying someone else $200 a month to be allowed to train with them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I get that.
So like, it's hard to consider what I do work, although it is hard work. And I think the hardest part is the different personalities that you deal with. Because like some people, like the older guys.
That's why I only get along with Izzy.
Oh yeah, that's so funny. You know, it's like
I've had so many, and Craig and Izzy have made it through, and my business partner. But yeah, they've made it through. But a lot of people have come.
I'm like unapologetically myself too, because I'm like again I said I was born in '82. I'm 43, so like I'm like
I'll be 40. I'm born '83.
Oh, okay, cool.
So yeah.
And I'm like I feel like I'm like the last before politically correct like really hit. I was like, yeah, that ain't me. Like you either really like me or you probably don't like me, and you'll probably meet people who will be like, oh, I don't like that guy. I'm like, yeah, believe them.
That's how. Yeah, I'm pretty polarizing. People are like really like either really like speak really positively of me, or they really don't like me.
But I'm fair. I don't do the sycophantic kissing people's butts. I don't do like that sort of thing. And so like I just am pretty honest.
There was a reel the other day, like we do like trendy reels, and it was something about being a people pleaser. And Izzy was like,
I'm not,
yeah, she was like, you can't do that. You're not a people pleaser.
Right, 100%.
She's like, that reel is not appropriate for you.
Yeah.
So
it was like 2019 is when I was like, oh man, this is crazy. I think I get to do this. And then every single year it got a little bit better, and we just kind of expanded.
Yeah, so you've expanded to Orange Park or St. Augustine. Explain a little bit about that, please.
Absolutely. So I have guys that have been training with me the whole time that I've been here. Like, so I've been here for 11 years, and I've been coaching now for 9.5. It'll be 10 years next year. And after 9 years, people start to get pretty good. And so I have some guys that have come over and trained with me, and they were already either blue or a purple belt. In Jiu-Jitsu, the ranking goes white.
How long does it usually take?
You know, I think...
Or average. I mean, I'm sure there's anomalies. But
for sure.
Can you explain that, please?
I think, like, the world record's, like, 3.5, maybe 4 years is, like, how fast you can get to black belt. And some people, like, never make it. And it depends, too, because some gyms take time and rank into consideration. My gym is 100% meritocracy. So it's like, if you aren't good, you will not be promoted. And that's how I think it should be, too.
Yeah.
So, like, that prevents my lineage, at least coming under me, from becoming like degraded, you know?
Yeah.
And so, in general, it might take about a year to go from white to blue. It might take another 2 years at blue, 3 years at purple, 4 years at brown. It's usually an average of about 10 years.
Okay.
So it might be easier to become a doctor if you were to go straight through.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of factors are your aptitude, how often do you compete, if ever, how old or young you are, how often you're training. In general, you're looking for about 7 to 10 years of mat time. And again, that's...
And what does that mean? I don't know what mat time is. Mat time.
Yeah, like
okay,
time on the mats.
Okay, I understand, yeah.
And so you're thinking, if someone's training 4 times a week for an hour a day, it's probably going to take them 12 to 15 years if they never compete. Like when I first started, I had already wrestled in high school at a high level at a high school.
So you're seeing 7 years of mat time of 40 hours a week, or how many hours a week?
More like 4 to 8 hours a week.
Okay.
Depending, not 40 hours a week. No one's training 8 hours a day.
I was gonna say that's crazy,
Yeah.
or that's a lot.
Yeah. So again, it's a generality, right? Because what matters is whether or not you can do the techniques. So knowing it is one thing, doing it is another thing, demonstrating it's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
So some people are great at being an athlete and competing. Some people are great at teaching. Some people are good at both. Some people are terrible at all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are great at competing, terrible at coaching. Some people are terrible at coaching, great at
competing.
Yeah, exactly, vice versa.
I understand.
So about 7 to 10 years to get to black belt. It ended up taking me 12 years to get to black belt, and I was at or near a world-class level of competition. But again, in the middle of my journey was I got my purple belt in 2011. I got hit by a car. I was out for 2 years, so that was 2 years of mat time off. There's been a couple other funny stories, when I was a blue belt, I fell in love with a girl, and then I moved back to San Francisco for a year before I realized that was a mistake, and I gotta go back to LA and continue to pursue my dreams. So it's just those 2 things alone are 3 extra years onto my journey.
Yeah.
If I had gone from start to finish, no injuries, I probably would have done it in 6 or 7 years. But because of my windy road, I started really fast and then kind of slowed down towards the end there. But.
Okay, and then how long have you now been? Since 2016? With the 10th Planet.
So, 10th Planet Jacksonville, or 10th Planet Atlantic Beach was the first one we opened up. That was 2016.
Okay.
And when we moved to the San Marco location where we're at now, we changed the name from Atlantic Beach to 10th Planet Jacksonville.
Okay.
And I will reopen a 10th Planet Atlantic Beach, hopefully early or mid next year. It's definitely something I want to do as well. And then I will own and teach at both of those gyms. And then also oversee the St. Augustine, which is run by Jay Lucas, and then 10th Planet Orange Park is run by Storm Shannon, too. So.
Okay, very cool. So you have your hands full.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to be a coach, and it's fun to watch these people grow. I've watched people like Steven Kozlow go from white belt all the way to black belt, and he's in the UFC now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We have guys.
And he's from here.
Mm-hmm. He's one of Jacksonville's native sons. He's loved by all. He's the man. Steven and Shelby. Shelby Corin is now his wife, and they're married, and she's a pro fighter as well. So it's one of those perfect little matches.
Oh, that's really cool.
We have guys like Austin Lane, also former Jags D-line. He trains at the gym.
My dad would love to talk to you. He's the one to tell all this.
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
And that's what he talks to Craig about,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Anytime, give him my number. I'd love to talk to him.
Yeah, no, he would love that. And watching,
What I was going to say, though, too, is, as much as I love watching those guys go and fulfill their dreams at the highest level, I also get as much, just love in my heart. I've watched guys go from 350 pounds to 225 pounds. And so when I see someone just go from being obese to in shape, I'm like, that is absolutely just as cool. Or I've watched kids go from
and get confidence.
Staring at the ground, no confident. We had a kid who's a foster kid. Again, I won't names, but when he first got here, he's maybe 5 feet tall, 130 pounds, not obese, but really chunky.
Mm-hmm.
He's been training with us for 2.5 years now. He's grown 3 inches. He's still 125, but he's got abs.
Yeah.
And you just see he's got biceps now. And I'm like, oh, this kid's gonna be a little monster when he gets older.
Yeah.
And it was I don't remember the story of exactly what happened to him, but it was sudden and abruptly. He didn't have a mom or a dad. He got taken in by his godparents, and that kid comes in and he's just kind of shuffling his feet, staring at the ground, and we're like, yo, pick your head up. What are you doing? What are you doing? We don't do that. And so it's fun to be a mentor, and it's fun to be a coach, and I don't really care about the accolades. I care about the character. And like again, I bring Steven and Austin up because those guys are two of the highest performing like athletes in the world. Like they're both world class athletes. They fight in the highest level of competition, and they are the sweetest and nicest and humblest and most coachable men. That like I think as a guy, the highest honor I could give somebody is if I had a daughter or if I had a sister, I would be happy with either one of them dating them. Yeah. Like I can't think of a higher compliment a man could give to another man than I would trust you with like the females of my family.
No, that is definitely a high compliment.
Absolutely. So love those guys.
So you didn't pursue music full time, but it's still part of your life. So talk a little bit about the music and how is that fitting in your world today?
Absolutely. So like let's see. Music school was 2 years. Once I got done with music school, I got a job at Guitar Center. And so like a lot of musicians do that. It's just a place to get gear for cheap. And I actually did pursue music full time for 10 years. Like,
oh, did you?
I was playing music out, and so I played at like the Roxy, I played at the Viper Room, I played at all of these places.
In Hollywood.
Some of my best friends have gone on to be like in amazing bands. Like there's a guy named Bryan Brown who worked with me at Guitar Center, and he's the guitar player for One Republic now.
Okay, very cool.
So whenever like One Republic comes through, I'm like, yo, what's up, dude? He's like, hey, I got tickets for you. He's like, oh man, I can't wait to see you again. So he's still down to earth, just super humble guy. And so I tried to, I wrote some songs, I recorded some songs. I think I did like a 6-song EP. I won a small award for a song that I wrote. It was called That's Life. And then I got signed to a publishing deal.
Okay, very cool.
So I ended up like taking my songs, and they took my songs, put them in a catalog, and they licensed them. So I still currently have those songs being licensed for TV, movie, commercials, that sort of stuff.
Cool.
So like I'm a member of ASCAP, which is a performance rights society that collects royalties. So I still get these royalties, but it was not like enough to live off of.
Yeah.
And so like I pursued music, and then I also told myself, hey, if I get to a certain time frame and it hasn't done what I wanted to do, I always thought I'll go back to school, become an EMT, paramedic, go firefighter. It was like just the route.
And you did that, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I didn't make it to be a firefighter. I got to be an EMT, and I tried for firefighting in San Diego. I tried ocean lifeguard. I tried a bunch of things, and it just didn't really
feel right.
No, it didn't work out. It's like I got to interview, and then I wasn't in the military, so I was getting jobs taken from me by people who had a veteran's preference, which is not a bad thing. I'm not like, oh, you were in the military, but I was a better candidate. It's like, hey, listen, they served. There's like a 5-point bonus for doing that. So I kind of like lost out on those opportunities. But my best friend was already in Florida, and he was like, hey, you should just come out here and work with me on this. We worked on Mayor Curry's first campaign, so we got Mayor Curry elected and re-elected.
Nice.
And so he's like, hey, come out here. We'll pay you this. You can run the ground team. So I like managed the ground campaign, and we were just like knocking doors and talking to people. Hey, what's up? And so that was like the switch from music to just being like moving to Florida. Like I literally prayed on it. I was like, should I stop my dreams now? And I just was like, my friend is like on. He's like one of those dudes that just like, he does so well financially. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's like the smartest guy I know. And so I was like, let me just go work with him and just see what happens. And so I worked with him. It was great for 2.5, 3 years. He continued to like blow up. I could have continued like down that path with him. The money was great, but I didn't really like working with people whose butts I had to kiss, because that's not my nature.
There's a lot about that in politics.
100%. You have to do that sort of thing, and you say the wrong thing, and then you're like excommunicated. And I was like, I've always been an entrepreneur, and so it was just luck that I got to start the gym. And it was also just luck that the job I had previously been doing like paid well enough to where my savings were good enough to be like, maybe I'll try this gym thing. Yeah. And I kind of got to do like politics, gym, politics. Screw politics. Yeah. And that was just so freeing to not have to like be beholden to anybody else. I'm like in control of the ship. If I crash into an iceberg, it's my fault.
I feel that as an entrepreneur. It's like somebody the other day was asking me. They were like, "Do you miss like the hospital and like working?" And I'm like, I mean, there are things about it that I miss, but it is nice, like kind of being in control of like your own.
I feel like if I fail, it's gonna be me. Yeah, no, 100%. God is control.
But there is like
No, seriously,
but
actually.
I pray that I mean, you never know what can happen, but I hope that I don't have to work for anybody.
Yeah.
Like I hope that this entrepreneur and I can work and do my own
agree.
thing.
In fact, I realize now, like, that, like, there was a time where I used to walk into the gym and I was like, because I've failed at everything. And I love that I failed at everything because I get to tell people how much of a failure I have been to become successful.
Yes, for sure.
So I get to be a model of resilience. And there was a season where I'd walk into the gym, and I still walk into the gym with, like, awe, you know? But I walked in thinking, like, I'm the man, look what I did. I'm the man, look what I did. And then one day, like, God put on my heart. He's like, oh, you think you did this? And I was like, oh, wait.
Yeah.
This isn't me. Like, you've allowed me to do this for another purpose. And for the first 6 years, it was just like, finally making money, putting money in my pocket. Not like I'm lusting after money, but like I missed that I'm supposed to be like a steward of this. And so my gym is my ministry. And even though I don't like put it in everybody's faces, it's like there's the imagery, and it's like I'm unapologetically bold in my faith, and I've read the Bible so much now, and I keep reading it that the wisdom just keeps pouring into me. So students come to me and they talk to me and they feel comfortable bringing that up. And again, like, I don't push this on anybody. We have Jews, we got Muslims, we got atheists, I've got cops, I've got drug dealers, I've got law enforcement.
No,
like,
for sure.
Everybody
but that's how
at
it kind
the
of
gym.
is with my business too. Is I track all walks of life, but if you go in like Alpha Clinic, I try every single day to at least just post one scripture.
For sure.
But I don't push it down. But it's been like, but the right people, like, you know,
if
just
you
come
feel
to
like a
me.
safe place for someone to talk to about it, like, I love that. I want everybody
so
to know
that's how
that.
and there was a when I was 19, I studied at Oxford philosophy and theology, and there was a quote from St. Francis of Assisi, and I do speak about Jesus a lot, but there is also a quote that's preach the gospel and when necessary use words. So I try also. And I fail, but I try to also just live a life or to be open that I'm preaching the gospel through my life and not always just like being vocal. I also am vocal about it, but within,
it says you will know them by their fruit.
Right, and then I always tell people like follow Jesus, not me.
No, 100%.
That's what, like,
I'm the first
follower, and I'm for sure I'm a Christian, but I actually identify a lot more as I'm a follower of Jesus. I believe Scripture, just because. If someone's not a Christian, they'll hear Christian and they'll think like, oh, I don't want to, Christian. But if I think it's a little bit more palatable for people when I say I'm a follower, I believe in Jesus, I'm a follower of Jesus.
I love when the conversation starts with, I hate religion. I was like, oh, that's funny. Me too. I hate religion. Like, I can't stand religiosity. I can't stand the legalistic view of religion that some people take. Like Joby says, don't use the Bible as a binocular, use it as a mirror. The word of Jesus is meant to wash us clean.
Yes, for sure.
And so the more I read, the more knowledge I have, the more confident I have to say, hey, this is not my feelings. This is just what it says.
Yes.
And so, like, I always jokingly say I have a photographic memory, but it's not like 4K. It's more like 720p. You know what I mean? It's like, I see like a blurry image. It's not like perfect recall. But when I'm talking to people, it's like, it's the Holy Spirit. It's like, oh, that sounds like Galatians, or oh, that sounds like James. Or I'll be like, where does it say in the Bible, blah, blah, blah? And I'll be like, oh, and then I get to like show people, like, this is the scripture. Is talking about the problem that you're asking me about, and I don't say like, oh, this is me and my wisdom. I'm like, here, read the book. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's exactly. And it's been interesting because I've been doing yoga teacher training, and yoga's not a religion, but there is a lot of kind of like Buddhism and things. So, and I would say I think of with everyone in my class, I think I'm the only Christian, and it's been a little bit difficult. And I also in that environment haven't wanted to like be like, I identify myself early on as a Christian, but like every day, like, so I've also tried to be in my mind like, how can I be here and also be like, this might be like the only Christian they're really coming in contact with, where I'm not like throwing it. But one way that I try to explain it to people, because a lot of times with Buddhism, it's like the source is like you. So I'm like, there's like 3 ways that you can like, for people, like, is that there's atheist, no source, there's a source and it's within you if you're like Buddhist or Hindu, or there's a source and it's without you if you believe in like God and deity. And then I'm like, I believe the source is without, outside of me, and then I believe that source, God, revealed himself through Scripture and through Jesus. And it's surprising when I kind of explain it that way, not that people are like believing what I believe, but when I kind of like break it down like that, people are at least a little bit like, okay, at least that makes a little bit more sense. Like that that you
100%.
like.
I watch people argue about things. C.S. Lewis says that we spend too much time arguing in the hallway when we need to just walk through the door and get into the living room.
Yeah. And
so I think that's there's a legalistic point of view. Like, again, I've done yoga since I was 19 years old. I'm like, not to be like, but like, You know what I mean? Like super flexible for like, especially for a big guy. Jiu-Jitsu helps too, but like yoga saved my life when I
I've gotten really with yin.
Back, you know. And so like I love yoga, I love stretching, and you can't tell me that the movements are evil.
No, and
some people try to be like,
exactly.
Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry to interrupt.
No, please, I love it.
But
it's
I
a great
think when I'm doing the yin, you know what, the scripture that comes to me and makes me emotional is be still and know that I'm God.
Absolutely.
So when people are saying like this yoga move is like, worshiping
you're inviting demons.
Yeah, and I'm like, actually, I'm in this yin pose for 5 minutes, and all I keep on thinking
it's
is
the position of your heart that matters,
and
right?
it's like be still and know that I'm God, and I think that so many times I'm in yoga poses, and I think about Jesus and I pray. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're 100% on. Here's how I'm like.
Yeah.
My God is so powerful that he'll kick your God's butt. You know what I mean? So if there is some sort of demonic presence in the yoga studio, it is not affecting me because I'm in Jesus, you know?
Yes.
And so like I can go into a yoga, and I love hot yoga.
Me too.
I love
my
to
favorite.
be sweating and and I have to go far away from everybody else because I've literally been at the end of a hot yoga session and watched a poor girl walk past my puddle and slip and fall. And she's like, who sweats so much? And I'm just like Homer Simpson in the bushes backwards. And so like I just think that people get so caught up in arguing over things that don't matter. It's like, okay, so Halloween even. It's like, oh, Halloween's demonic. I was like, sure, it could be if you're worshiping demons, but like, if I had kids, I'm going to dress my kids up like some cute little thing and go trick-or-treating and have some good fun. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, no, evil spirits. Because, again, I'm going to go preach the gospel to whoever will listen to it on whatever day of the year is. And even if it's at yoga, like, hey, that's fine. Namaste. No. Namaste in church, you know what I mean? It's fine.
It's funny you said the Halloween because we were members of Dinsmore Baptist over by Cali, and we had moved up there. And what time is it? Sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh, I thought you were going to be
5:40.
No. So we were members over at Dinsmore Baptist. We had a house over there and by Callahan, and we became members of Dinsmore Baptist, and they were having like a thing on like Halloween. So I was like, can my kids, like, so Miss Betty, who's ended up after my husband died and I lost custody of my kids, and after he became incarcerated, she rented me a trailer. Like, she's like been an amazing, her and her family have been amazing to me. Awesome. But she's at like 80, and I was like, Miss Betty, I'm like, can I dress up the boys, for the event? And she was just like, as long as you don't dress them as the devil.
Yeah, 100%.
I was like, they're going to be dinosaurs. She's like, perfect.
100%. It's like, we have to be careful with like the legalistic. Like, we can't be licentiousness, but you can't be so
just
legalist.
Just don't dress them as the devil. I'm like, they're not going to
If you're a Christian and you believe Christ is the like sole propitiation for like the atonement of our sins, and you're on the right track. But like when you start to put rules, like if you can't do Halloween without sinning, you shouldn't. But that doesn't mean that I should place my rules. Like, maybe I'm an alcoholic and I can never drink because when I do, it's a sin. But if you can go have a drink and celebrate God and have a glass of wine, you're not looking to get wasted or drunk, there's no way that's a sin.
No, and I agree. And I'm in recovery, so I don't drink or drugs. But
just for instance.
But what I'm agreeing with you is because I also, and even like my sick mind will be like, but in Proverbs it says wine of good cheer, but it says don't be drunk, right? So
correct.
I know for me,
there's all sorts of instances where they're celebrating and being joyful.
So for me, I have to do abstinence, but I'm like, great for you that you don't have this problem that I have.
I support that.
Yeah,
100%.
so it's like you can drink in moderation, and that must be lovely. I don't know what that is really,
Well, and even Joe Rogan's funny. He's like, you can be addicted to cheeseburgers.
No, exactly. So it's not. So, I'm on the same page as that. I'm just but I don't think like because of this that every single person has to.
100%. Rules for me, not for thee. These are guardrails. I have my own guardrails that are just like meant to keep me from, you know what I mean, doing bad things and stuff. But,
and it's interesting about C.S. Lewis because I loved the Chronicles of Narnia when I was young, but I also like Mere Christianity. He's a great Christian apologetic, and then also Screwtape Letters.
I haven't read that one yet, but everyone keeps telling me that's a great one.
I read a part in high school. I don't remember, but the one thing I read in Screwtape Letters, it always stuck with me because I was raised as a Christian. I have a fortunate story that like I've always believed in Jesus since I could. My faith has kind of been stronger, not like, but I'm always
prone to wander. It happens.
So, but I've always been and always had a really strong faith, and even when I like was not wandering, I like still love Jesus.
Yeah,
right?
I've never been an atheist. That's for sure.
But all that to say, but one thing in Screwtape Letters that always helped me was that when it's just a fictional book, but a demon is trying to teach another younger demon how to get basically people away from Jesus, and he said, make sure when they go to church that you position them close to someone that has like hurt them or is a hypocrite or something like that. So when they're in church, all they can think about is how hypocrite. But I remember learning that when I was like 14 or reading that, and it always helped me. So when I was in church and I saw that, I'm like, that's the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even remember like someone saying like, if church hurt, like I overcome by saying like, if God is an orchestrator, if he's like if he's conducting the symphony, you wouldn't go to a symphony and hear a violin player mess up a part in the symphony and think that Beethoven doesn't know what he's doing.
Yes.
You would just think that that guy playing that part doesn't play his part. And as Christians, we all fail every single day, and God's mercies are renewed every single day. So it's like, the thing is that the way that we deal with sin as a Christian matters. So it's like we're more noticing of the sins that we can commit, and then we're also more prone to actually being repentant towards those, rather than saying, no big deal, I'll just keep doing this thing that I want to do.
Yeah, no, for
sure. And we shouldn't judge each other for our struggles, because none of us are in the same place. We're all not perfectly yoked. It's like, if you're a believer, cool, you're on the right path.
No, that I 100% agree. We're actually, I have so much to talk about, but we're actually kind of tight on time. So a couple things to wrap up.
Yeah.
The first thing is just to plug, if people are interested in coming to your gym, where do they do online, or how do they reach you?
Absolutely. So website's down currently, but it is www.10pjax.com. But really, if you just Google 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu Jacksonville, will pop up. We got like 165-star reviews, and then
awesome.
You'll see Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. I'm teaching every class. We also have Monday through Friday at noon, and then we are open 7 days a week. So just look up 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. We'll pop up. We've got a bunch of classes that you can choose from. And then I guess the only other one thing I'd love to plug is
for sure. Anything you want to plug.
November 8th, I'm going to be doing my first time in 15 years playing in front of people.
Oh,
so
awesome.
I haven't played a show or anything like that. I'm going to do 2 worship songs, and we're going to do a message. So I'll do one more worship song, and then we're going to do a CrossFit workout. And that's going to be at Black Hive, November 8th at 8:30. And
in the evening or in the morning?
In the morning. Morning. And so it was just
I'm not able to go. I'm going to the prison that day, but at 12:30 I have to be at 11:22 to meet. So I can probably go there in the morning.
Come tell your friends.
That's really cool.
Tell them all, come by, and it's just going to be, it's a faith-based initiative. A guy on the Nehemiah team who serves with me heard me playing 2 weeks ago when the church lights went out, like church power went out. And so I just brought my guitar into church, and I started playing and singing just because it was something fun to do while I was waiting for the next service. And then he said Holy Spirit put it on his heart, and that like 24 hours earlier that had happened. And I sat there, and he's like, hey, I'd love for you to come and play. And I was like, man, I'm honored and scared, so I think I have to say yes.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
So, and then the next 2 questions I ask every single guest. Yeah. And the first one is, it talks about in Psalms that a man without a vision perishes. So I always think it's important that, we have visions for our future. So what is your kind of 5-year vision that you see for yourself?
Absolutely. I would love to still one day be a father, if that's a possibility. I would love to have children. So that would be cool. It would be nice to just, like, I don't really have a want for any materials. Like, I have, like, the clothes that I need. I have guitars to play. I don't really care about like jewelry or any of that stuff. So like honestly, it would be amazing if I could have a family. That's kind of the thing that I'm like hoping God will be able to place in front of me at some point, without lusting after it, without idolizing it. But I would love to be a father. I'd love to be a great husband. Other than that, helping the other students in my gym that want to teach and to do what I do, basically teaching them how to fish. So any of those students that want to go on and open up a gym, once they've become like a black belt and are earn the credibility to do so, I would just love to see as many of my students be able to feed themselves and their families doing the same thing that I'm doing, because like I'm so thankful and lucky. And I think it's like one of the things I prayed for when I was younger is this. I didn't know it was this. It was something I love, something that makes money, and then something that's good for the community. And all 3 of those things merge right in the middle. And there's a Japanese word called ikigai, and it means to be in the middle of all 3 of those things. So I'm there. I love what I do, and I'd love to help others do that same thing too.
Okay, awesome. So then what you just said kind of goes into my final question, which is usually, is there a quote or saying or something that you live by or recommend or something?
I think when I was younger, I really adhered to carpe diem.
Okay.
Right? So
yes.
like
seize the day.
My mom was so encouraging. Like I would tell people all the time, like, if I suck, please tell me, because don't let me waste my time if I'm not talented.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because, like, I didn't want to be like, there was, like, a guy in the old American Idol, his name was, like, William Hung. He was, like, that first guy who was, like, terrible.
Oh, yes.
So terrible. So I was like, am I terrible?
What song did he sing?
I don't even. She Bangs by Ricky Martin.
Bangs. Yeah, exactly.
So, like, if I was terrible, please tell me that I'm chasing wrong dreams. Because, of course, Mom is going to be like, you're so cute. You're so talented.
Yeah.
But I had enough people, like, kind of corroborate that I was decent. And so, like, my mom was so encouraging. She never encouraged me to play it safe. She encouraged me from day one to relentlessly pursue my wildest dreams. So I genuinely thought I was going to play in the NFL, and then I genuinely thought I was going to be a rock star, and then I genuinely thought I was going to be a pro fighter. And I was like 100% convinced, not like maybe. It was like nope, 100%.
Yeah.
And then every time I hit the bridge or the wall of this has to be an admitted failure, and I talk about leadership as leadership is not making mistakes. Leadership is recognizing mistakes and course correcting immediately. And so I love that my mom gave me the courage to chase my dreams completely and unapologetically, go after it. And then I love that I had good coaches that like taught me how to be a good leader. Like, hey, when things weren't going the right way, have the courage to change your decisions and to make new paths. And so I love that I've gotten to say that I've failed at everything I've tried to, and maybe I could have tried more or something could have gone different, but I'm also so thankful at the things that God didn't let me have that I thought I wanted, because I would have destroyed myself with them if I got them earlier.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
And thank you for watching.
Yep.